Here we are with Keith Marks.
Surprise.
And Keith Marks is a dude that I've known for several years, and we're kindred spirits. And you know, you might be somebody listening or watching this who's also a kindred spirit like that. We're gonna talk about yoga.
No, we're not.
We're gonna talk about yoga and how you can't use the word bitch anymore because it's not a good word to use anymore. But Madonna in the 90s told me that she was a bitch, and then women were walking around everywhere, and they were like, I'm a bitch, because I'm a bitch. There were books written about, I'm a bitch, this, that. But you can't use the word anymore.
I mean, it could be used in a different context. Like we could bring back that surf terminology. Like, that's bitching.
That's bitching, man.
Yeah, like bitching would totally be in fair game.
Yeah.
That's inside the boundaries of okay.
Somebody would have a problem with that.
Nobody would have a problem with bitching.
No?
Well, no, I take that back. I can't imagine, you know, like you're on the pulpit and you're preaching to your congregation and the pastor would go, that's a bitchin' statement from Jesus.
That's a bitchin' statement.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine that the majority. Well, I can't. Maybe the majority, but there's for sure you'd have some people go,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be a pastor and use the word bitchin' on the pulpit. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I think 90% you'd get away. Fair game.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. I would love to be at church and hear somebody be like, what Jesus said was bitching.
Yeah.
It's bitching as fuck. Yeah, man. So thanks for coming on the show, dude.
Thanks.
You know, I'm trying to pay attention and switch cameras. Like right now I'm on you. Right now I'm on me.
You've got a lot going
Right now I'm
on.
on you. Well, it's another thing there when you're trying to talk to someone,
Yeah.
you know.
What you need is an intern.
Yeah, that would be great, but I don't have that.
When you do have an intern, can I come back on? And that way it's a little...
Yeah.
The process is even better.
Yeah. I might even have it gelled by then, like, you know, because I play the guitar and I make a trumpet sound and I hit the loop pedal with the guitar.
You know,
I think I can do this.
Do you think you could tie the camera swapping to a foot pedal?
Maybe.
Just an idea.
I'll tie it to a loop pedal. Yeah, man. So, man, so what are you working on lately?
Man, I wear like 20 hats. It's hard to say. When people ask me like, "Oh, what do you do?"
Yeah.
I'm always having to think like, does this person really want to know? I mean, or like, because it just sounds like I'm being a pompous jerk. Like, oh,
Yeah.
well, let me list all the things that I do to entertain myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, typically it kind of goes back. I'm gonna get a sidetrack, and then you can bring me back.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to like when I was traveling,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be gone for 6 months, a year and a half, and I'd come back, and people were like, "How was traveling in Asia?"
Mm-hmm.
And 95% of the people really just want to hear "great" and then move on and talk about themselves or talk about their life and their experience and where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned very quickly that if I tried to go into depth, people would glaze over. And it's like, okay. So people would say, "Oh, how was Tibet?" And I'd be like, "It was great." And 95% of the people, that's all they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And then the 5% who like really were curious, they'd go, "No, but tell me, like, what was it like? And where did you stay? And what did you eat? And what conversations did you have?" And those are the people who I'd reserve that, okay, let me really tell you about my experience.
So why do you think people ask that? Don't you think it's weird that people ask you questions and they don't really want to know?
I think it's
not.
It's a human function and a societal function.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's this inner human urge to connect.
Yeah.
Right. We validate one another, and I mean.
Yeah.
So there's that sort of like, let me build community with you and be part of this unit that we've created, and that whether that's 2 people or 100 people. Mm-hmm. But then also there's this societal thing. So for instance, one of the things that I noticed from living outside this country is Americans tend to have a really hard time with silence. Like, we don't sit in silence very often.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, and now we don't even allow for still moments. So even when we're alone, we're engaging with humans, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, albeit through our phones, but it's
Yeah.
still there's still that inner urge to connect.
Yeah.
So I think most of the time in this country anyway, especially in the South, it's like filling space.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah.
And that could be your best friend.
Yeah.
And it's more genuine in that respect, in that dynamic.
Yeah.
But then it can also be at the checkout line at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how you doing? How's your day?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really care about my day, or are you just filling the gap, filling the void, you know, fulfilling some sort of societal obligation?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the experience of going through the checkout line and both parties are totally silent to one another.
Mm.
I mean, this day and age too, because the price pops up on the little screen
Yeah.
and you swipe your card. So you could theoretically have that interaction in complete stillness and silence.
Yeah.
It would be so awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know what you're talking about too, and it happens even when other people are talking, because the whole time you're talking, I'm like, I'm gonna say something.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding. No,
Let me talk about that for now.
no, let me talk about that now. So, but it's I learned that like 14 years ago when I moved to Jacksonville. It was the first non-Hispanic neighborhood that I lived in. Mm-hmm. And I come from a lower socioeconomic place, you know, like especially if you compare it to where I live right now. And right now, I'm doing all right, you know. But, you know, my parents, they did great things. You know, everybody does the best that they can. But at one point, we had holes in our kitchen. If we had holes in our kitchen living around here, people would freak the fuck out. You know, they would be like, what is going on over there, you know? And so I learned it when I moved into my first apartment here, and I noticed that people asked you, hey, how's it going? How's your day? You know, there was a guy jogging. I was jogging in one direction. He was jogging the other direction. He's like, hey, how's it going? And I stopped and I started talking to him just to be, you know, funny or whatever. I stopped and I was like, actually, it's going pretty good. You know, it's like, and he kind of like looked back and was like, what? It doesn't really mean anything, you know? So there's, it's funny because in poorer, like the poorer neighborhood where I grew up, there's more honesty about your interaction. So there is that silence, you know, or you're walking down the street, or I think probably New York. I've never been to New York, if you can believe that or not, but I think New York's probably might be like that. You're around other people and you're totally quiet.
New York,
maybe.
Yeah, well, New York's.
But I wouldn't know because I've never been there.
I mean, that's almost the opposite extreme. You're surrounded by so many humans that it's almost. I mean, it's overwhelming, and so it happens in places where there's lots of people, like New York, where there's so much social interaction that everybody becomes like white noise. And so you don't have that genuine, I mean, think about it. In more rural places where everybody knows each other, there's a warmth or an intimacy.
Kind of.
There is. I mean, that's why I changed it. It's maybe not it's warmth, but there's an intimacy. Everybody knows each other. Everybody, you know what I mean? So that there's a more genuine types of connecting there, which is why I think so many people in New York are just like, the sex is out of control. Like people are.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's not a place to go find your like life partner.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are people who connect and have kids, but like, there's a lot of people just like they're building their career or their thing, and other people are like, I want to go and have sex with somebody, and like they go out and they have that like. And the nice thing is that if you have that feeling in Jacksonville, you know, you may or may not find another willing participant in that exchange who's like, that's what I'm interested in too. Yeah. But in New York,
you can do that here. You can go to Phillips Highway.
Well, I mean, you know, yeah, sure, you can go anywhere.
Yeah. I was kidding though. I was just kidding.
Where are we talking about with this? I feel like there's lots of good tangents we're on here.
Yeah. Tangents are good, man. Tangents are important. You know, but we're talking about people asking you about the work that you do, because the work that you do, you wear so many hats, and the work that you do. When people ask you about that most of the time they don't want to hear it because this is a long story,
right?
You know, you better get ready for this.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's this idea of like, well, there's things that I have done that have shaped me, you know, and then there are things that I'm doing that are in the process of shaping me. So like, there are certain badges that I've, can say, oh, I had a record label and I put out records.
Yeah.
I don't do that now.
Yeah. Did you have a record label?
Yeah, I did. I put out 3 albums.
No shit.
Yeah, I put out see, there we go. Now you got me on this. But see, you're interested, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I put out was a comp.
Dude, let me interrupt you for a moment.
Yeah.
Like, my mind, the way that it works, I call it being a plate pinner. Did I say that? A plate spinner.
I'm with a plate pinner. I followed you, though. I was with you.
Yeah, good. So that's important. That's the important part, right? So I call it. So I'm. I'll take these loops, and I'll come back around, and I'm like, okay, so this is where we're going at, because that's how intriguing life is to me. That I don't know.
It's all the LSD that's filtering through our systems. Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that though, because I just had this conversation. At my job, I'm having to put together this like very detailed and organized plan of like marketing and PR and all these things and it's hard for me because it's minutia. And so if you were to, this is the metaphor I gave to somebody today, was if you were to watch me clean my house. You would look at my process and be very confused. Like, why would you leave half the room swept and this other half, like piled in dirt? And why are half the dishes clean and the other half dirty? And because I just sort of am like, when I think of something or that urge comes up, I'm like, oh, I have to go do that thing. And so if you watch my process, it makes no sense. If you left, and my wife has had to learn this lesson. Yeah. Leave me alone for an hour, come back, and everything will be done. The room will be swept, the dishes will be done, everything will be put away. Yeah. But if you try to understand why I'm doing, when I'm doing, I have no idea. Yeah. So spinning.
It gets on your wife's nerves that she get frustrated. Like she's a different kind of
no. In the beginning, there was a little bit of confusion and maybe getting on her nerves. But now she. That's the great thing about Tehillah is that she's like the Borg. We never have to cross a bridge twice. Yeah. Like once we move through something, she's assimilated that and she's like, oh, okay, that's normal now. Okay. So now she knows if she's asked me to clean, she knows that I'm going to do the whole job until it's done. Yeah. She may not like the order in which I do things, but she's okay because she's more focused on me getting the job done than she is in the way in which I'm doing it. And so
that's interesting. Because I've never thought about that aspect of my relationship with Patricia, like if we even do things like that. I know that like anybody, we get on each other's nerves about different things, like or it's just like it's like we have a completely different perspective on something sometimes, so and that could, I don't know. I've never thought about that. Like if we do that,
when I knew that this was more than just dating with Tehillah was there was this. I remember it very clearly. So in Tel Aviv, I lived in an apartment building. It was really neat. It was the Middle East's first elevator and shopping mall. It was in Tel Aviv, and it was like one of the older buildings in Tel Aviv, right? Yeah. And so it was a courtyard in the middle, and the floors went around it, and then there was a rooftop access, and I used to throw parties up on the roof and have people and DJs and it was great. And Tehillah and I had been dating for a few weeks, months, and I had finally gotten around to throwing this party. And the whole night I'm having a great time. We're drinking and doing other things and blah blah blah. And it's like tons of people on the roof, and you could see the Mediterranean and like Tel Aviv night. And just amazing fun night. I come downstairs to go to the bathroom, and it's late, and Tehillah is in the apartment, and I was like, "Hey, baby," and she's like, "Don't talk to me." I'm like, "Huh." And immediately I go, okay, what did I do? Did I kiss somebody? Did I?
Shit!
I'm just what did I do? What did I do? Yeah. And I'm going, what did I do? She's like, you don't really care about me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would you say that? You don't pay me any attention. Well, wait. And we sort of get. I'm like asking her questions and trying to figure this out. And neither of us are sober, so keep that in mind too. But, so we're having this conversation. And I had to explain. I was like, listen, I said, I spend 95% of my free time with you. That means that all these other people that I never have time to see, this is my opportunity to sort of see all those people, engage socially with those people. So yeah, you're right. I'm not going to spend my party time where I've invited all these people to connect with socially. This is not your time. This is not our time to be together. And I said, barring me changing who I am, what can I do so that you know that I care about you in these types of situations, barring me standing next to you? And she thought about it, and she was like, 2 things. That's why I love Tehillah too, because she gives you an answer. Like there's always, it's not like I don't know. It's she said 2 things. I said, okay, what? So 1, if you see me across the way and our eyes meet, just give me like a wink or a nod or something to know that you're acknowledging me. Cool, I can do that. Second thing is, if we're passing in physical proximity, I don't think she used the word physical proximity. But if we're in the same physical space,
it's not her speaking style. I can't hear her.
No.
Yeah.
She said, grab the back, like the fat of the elbow. You know what I'm talking about? Like right here. Yeah. So just so I know, just give me a little goose or something. And since then, we have never had to cross that. I'm a social butterfly. I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert. We've never had to cross that bridge ever again. And it goes back to this, to the cleaning thing. She knows how I feel. She knows the intention. We talked about it. I'm doing something that shows that I give a shit. And she never has to wonder or question what my intentions are when we're out in public. And so that was the moment when we've never had to deal with that issue again. It's like, oh, okay, she's not, I won't say, like, there are people who go, oh, this is the perfect person for me. But like somebody who's malleable's the wrong word. It implies like, oh, you're impressionable. But like someone who's like really willing to sort of like grow together and like move and shape and twist, like I was like, okay, this is a person who I could really spend some time with.
Yeah, man, that's very, it's too uncommon.
Yeah, totally.
Too uncommon. Yeah, that is
people try to do this like, you need to grow to me. No, you need to grow to me. And it's like, that's not going to work. There's once you understand like the concept of yin and yang, like this is a great lesson I learned studying like Taoism. So you have these concepts of yin and yang, right?
You studied Taoism too?
A little bit, yeah. I do lots of shit, man. That's what happens when you don't own a TV. You read, you get into things.
That's true, man.
But
you should see all the instruments I have in here. If you're listening to this and not watching it, you should.
There's lots of instruments.
There's a lot of stuff to do here. That's what I do with no TV. Anyway,
2 people, right? I'm trying to like look at the camera here. You got 2 people, and one person is like angry and upset. This one's like, I'm out of here, like this. So the natural reaction to that, if for a healthy, balanced relationship, is this person needs to somehow bring them back into it, right? Because what happens is in relationships, you see like, I'm out of here. And it's like, well, screw you then. I'm out of here too. That is never going to be a healthy dynamic way of solving a problem. Then the opposite, it's like, this person's like, I'm going to prove my point. You're wrong. So this person in a healthy relationship needs to sort of like bend and be flexible to bring it back to balanced, right? So this is like the midpoint. This is balance, healthy. So if this person's coming at this person needs to yield energetically, right? But what happens too is sometimes you get this going. I'm going to prove my point. I'm going to prove my point. That's not going to solve anything either. And so I always feel like Tehillah and I, like if she's pulling away sometimes or if I'm pulling away, we're really good about getting balanced. And even there are times where we're both maybe pulling or pushing that we both recognize that it's an imbalanced process, right? So most relationships don't ever come to the point of like even that sort of like self-reflection of itself. I'm talking too much, dude. Sorry.
No. This is good stuff, man. This is good stuff. This is why I'm doing this podcast, because people don't talk this much. You know what I'm saying? Like
I talk.
Like for example, if you were on the radio show here, they would have told you to be quiet. Like I don't know, like 5 minutes ago. Something like, because they're on time, and it's like, okay, we got to go now. So yeah, I wish we can get really into it. I wish we can get into it more, Keith. But sorry, it's like we ran out of time, and our sponsors don't like what you said, and we got to go. Bye. So, but our sponsors here on this show we don't have any sponsors yet. But if you want to be a sponsor, you can. Like if you have a business and you want to, if you want to be a sponsor to the show and kick me back some money, and maybe I can pay my guests some money too, that wouldn't be bad.
Just buy some gear.
Buy some gear. I know. Yeah. So, that's fascinating stuff though. It's fascinating. I love hearing you talk about that. Because I don't hear people talk about that very often, the dynamics of their relationship in that way. There's no time during the day, like throughout the day. There's no, like, there's so much surface, dude. There's so much like, okay, yes, I'll have a latte, please. How's it going? What are you doing? Like, oh, I've been playing guitar. I've been practicing a lot of flamenco. I've been doing this and that. It's like, the baby. How's the baby doing? The baby's great. So I sometimes I want to get a T-shirt that says all the stuff that's going on right now. Just read my shirt.
You see, people get scared when you go deep.
Yeah.
Like in the normal social circles, especially like in Jacksonville, I notice it's like when you start.
Oh man.
When you start breaking the protocol of superficial.
Yeah.
The people who have built their world inside that superficial protocol get really nervous and scared when you start going into these deep places. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's because there's like just because they haven't flexed that intellectual muscle very often, that they don't feel comfortable in that world, or they don't want to be exposed in a public setting of saying their thoughts and having to really think about things and have an opinion on something. I mean, after living in Israel, that was something that I realized that, for better for worse, Israeli culture can be very, very abrupt and very in your face, but everybody has an opinion on something, and they don't do superficial at all, really. Yeah. It's all very, I mean, almost from the word go. Yeah. They're into your space, and you're like having to really sort of intellectually fend them off by declaring your perspective and position and thinking. And
I think they call that. I think they call that an elbow neighborhood or elbow culture. I think they call that, like, you gotta,
really.
Yeah, you gotta like.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, I heard Norman Finkelstein. I heard Norman Finkelstein talk about that, but I don't know if he lived in Israel or not. But
it's funny.
But he's from New York, actually. He's from New York.
It's funny because I always joke around when I try to explain what Israel's like to people, like compared to America. I say, you put a room full of Americans in a room, you turn off the lights, and everybody walks around like, oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Same scenario, Israelis. Everybody has their elbows out, and it's, there you are. There you are.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you are.
Yeah.
It's very much that
so
elbow culture.
I'm sure that both have their pros and cons. Like both cultures, like somewhere in the middle sounds comfortable. Like, you know
what the trick is, man? The trick is learning that the cultural default setting is actually just a tool. Once you understand it, so it's like a musical instrument. If you were going to play heavy metal, you wouldn't pick up a ukulele. People would be like, that doesn't rip at all, like you would pick up like a monster heavy duty guitar, and that's your cultural lens for your genre that you're trying to emulate. So perfect example, Tehillah comes over from Israel. We opened up our first business, and Tehillah's on the phone, and people are complaining to me about how she's answering the phone, and I'm like, why? Because there's no bullshit in Israel. So she answers the phone. Yes, Mrs. Johnson. Massage, 7 p.m. Yeah. Let me call you back. Boom.
Yeah, that doesn't work around here, right?
Right.
It doesn't work around. I have to.
So we hold on real quick.
Yeah.
We're constantly back and forth saying you need to be more American with that situation or be more Israeli. Like when you deal with Comcast, you're total Israeli. Look, I want your manager now on the phone.
Yeah.
So when you understand, so it's not a better or worse situation.
Yeah.
It's a what's the right note to hit here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I have trouble doing the niceties. I like the straightforwardness. I appreciate it because, but I think it's because I wasn't always like that. I think it's because I'm very confident in myself. Like I'm very self-approved, if I can say that. Like I know what I'm doing and I know why I'm doing it, and I trust myself and I trust my spirit to go on autopilot. Like I trust myself to make decisions. I don't have to check on myself because I know I'm not being devious. Like I'm never being devious. Like not even like a second throughout the day. Like I have no bad intentions, you know, but I wasn't always like that. That took meditation and cultivating, you know, that. Because there was a lot of anger in me when I first moved here. Even before that, just growing up, you know, I don't really want to get into it right now, but it was a tough situation, you know, many tough situations, you know. And that affects you and makes you angry, but I think that's why I appreciate a more straightforward culture. I'll tell you what, I usually get along with Jewish people, okay, and Irish people.
Yeah.
Irish people.
Irish.
Like I don't think I've ever met a Jew or an Irish person that I didn't like.
You haven't met enough, but yeah.
Yeah. I have not. No, but I met a lot.
Culturally, it's...
Or, no, I'll take that back. That I didn't get.
Yeah.
Okay, you're an asshole, but I get where you're coming from, you know,
right.
like that kind of thing.
Do you remember Dan Neal? Big, stocky... Anyway, he lived down the street, and we reconnected after, you know, we knew each other way back in old drunk Riverside days, and now we've got kids and reconnected, and the storytelling and the intellectual, you know, like willing to grip things and hold on to it and chew on them and take them apart and put them together. Yeah. I mean, I think that the way that I talk about it is my best friends are yes and people, right? They're the people who say, like, I've got this idea. And they're like, oh, cool. It's like being a kid. Like, let's make a fort. Okay, yeah, and I've got this wood we could do. And yeah, you get into it, and those people are there. This is a really good. It's the idea of what does a true collaboration look like? True collaboration looks like it's not just two people coming together or two organizations or two things coming together. It's one thing and one thing coming together to create something that could not have existed if both of those entities had not come together. And so there are magical experiences that you have with your best friends, people you connect with, you know, that type of energy, where that type of experience, whatever that shared moments were, weren't replicable by, it's not just like going to the Louvre. You can go to the Louvre anytime you want, but you go to the Louvre and you know, drop some acid and you walk through with your buddy, you know, and you have that shared the experience. The location becomes the backdrop for that short movie that's happening with the two of you, you know. So like good friends are those people where you walk out and you both have been changed by it, you know. Yeah, man. That's another rare thing too. That kind of friendship, you know. For me anyway. From the outside, people have the appearance that they're surrounded by people like that. Like if you go and you hang out at some hip spots, you know, there's people who have a lot of friends and they're happy and they say the right things, and you know. But I guess people try to portray that they have that, you know. But no, it's very rare, man. That to have that. I could count those kinds of friendships in one hand, maybe two hands throughout my life, that I've had these really intertwining, that I've had actual relationships with people, you know, and we became different people because of those relationships, you know. And but I bet you don't remember what we were talking about.
way back, back in the day, back in 19, we were talking about your work.
Maybe, I don't know. What do you want to know?
We were talking about no. We were talking about. I mean, everything's fine. Everything's great. We're talking about, but we're talking about your work and then we were talking about the people. Oh yeah, the niceties and the social niceties and all that kind of stuff and differences in culture.
It's not to say that it's not to say that being civil and social and superficial doesn't have its place. I mean, if you were to try to go deep with every single cat you meet on the street, you're not going to make it very far. You know, so it's not to say that those types of interactions don't have a place and don't belong. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that you need to if that's your operating system. Yeah. I kind of go back like doing all the things I did as a youngster, you know, all the experiences I took. I'll just leave it at that. And traveling, it's sort of
let's leave it at that.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to deconstruct everything that I was brought up to have. So you're born into a certain culture, into a certain gender, into a certain socioeconomic place, into a certain culture, a certain race, you know, and so your parameters are set, and you grow within these parameters, and so we tend to take on our identities based on our parameters. So by having the opportunity to get out of reality, or getting out of this country, or getting out of this, you know, whatever the situation, all of a sudden you're able to deprogram, if you're open to that idea, deprogram yourself, and then sort of say, well, what looks like pieces I want to put back into me. Yeah. And I was able to deconstruct myself by these intense experiences.
So when did that happen, that you were able to deconstruct yourself? Like, let's say around, like, when did that start happening?
So, I mean, it's I think to pull out one piece of it, it would be hard. I mean, the getting,
it's a long process.
Yeah, getting into, you know, skating as a high school kid opened me up to certain things. So
this was early on.
I mean, I remember somebody on the school bus. I was probably in like 9th grade.
Okay, let me stop you, because I want to say that I'm asking that because, like, I have something on my mind, that something I think that I've had the opportunity to deconstruct also, and I think that it's because I've had time. And that's the thing that people don't have. I think that everybody can achieve that deconstruction, but they don't have time, because there was once upon a time where I was working at a job, and I was working 40 hours a week, and it was not what I wanted to do. It was very far away from what I wanted to do. So I tried to get other jobs to get closer and closer to something that I wanted to do, but it was not it, you know? But I didn't have time. And then as soon as I took the time by leaving work or whatever I did. You know, I know what I did, but I'm just not. It's a different story. But I gave myself this time, and I just focused. Like, let's see who Goliath is, because people don't even have time to find out who they are. Like deconstruct, and you know, you come from this place, and you're programmed like this, and you do that. You know, and people are fighting you. A lot of the times, people are fighting you all the way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. They're fighting
your peers. You're not supposed to unplug.
Yeah. You get in the matrix here. It's in the matrix.
So in that respect,
you're going down, dude.
In that respect,
you know who that was?
That was my Keanu Reeves.
That's my Keanu Reeves impression. So I did it okay. Yeah. You're going down, dude.
That's from Point Break.
Yeah, but
children of the '80s. We know this stuff.
Yeah, man.
So most people don't ever get the opportunity, especially right now. And I feel really bad for like kids coming out of like high school and college, because they'll never really understand this unless they really take the time to unplug. Most people never get more than 24 hours away from a digital device. that tells them where they need to be, when they need to be, connecting to social, these things. And so I was fortunate to backpack through Asia for 4 years.
Yeah.
I didn't have, when I was hungry, I ate. When I wanted to
go
go to another
Did you go
city,
to Russia when you were in
I didn't go to Russia, no.
Russia's Asia, right? Isn't it part of Asia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's Asian bits to it, you know. And
right now, dude, I'm fascinated with Russia.
Russia's an interesting spot.
Yeah. I was not ever fascinated with Russia, but I'm really fascinated with it right now because I've been studying World War II a lot. And then I started World War I, and I started World War II before that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like a big player in these wars,
For sure.
And but we don't know that because nobody talks about that over here. They're evil over here, and that's what's put out through the media. Yeah, that they're bad guys. You can't even empathize with their position because otherwise you're unpatriotic. You can't even do that. Like you can't even be like, well, yeah, I can see they're kind of badass people, man. They're kind of,
yeah.
You got some female pilots during World War II and female snipers, and this is way before women's lib. That whole notion, whatever, But why was I talking about Russia? Because they're so badass. No.
You asked me if I would.
Great. I'm getting on a list now. I'm getting on a list. I'm complimenting Russia, and I'm getting on a list. Those of you
they're
in
not
California,
so bad.
They're not so bad. No, not they. The list won't be like that. They'll just start fucking with my cell phone devices and be like, "Oh, okay, nothing's gonna work for you now."
Right.
We're going to give you a heart attack through frustration.
This podcast is not coming out.
This podcast is going to be all ones and zeros.
Encrypted.
Yeah, encrypted. It's not going to work. But, man, so, that makes me think of Edward Snowden. You know who Edward Snowden is? Are you familiar with him? You know how he was in Russia, and he talked about there was agents talking about that they would bump into him, and that he would just die of a heart attack like an hour later. Like there was agents talking about that they would kill him like that. Mm-hmm. Like because his capability exists somehow. Like I don't know what the bumping in thing, maybe a needle, maybe something else, right? But it makes me wonder how many people who died of natural causes or just freak things like
have been bumped into.
Yeah, bumped into it. If that's even real, if it's not like some scare tactic,
I mean, what was the I forget the guy's name.
I'm sorry, man.
He was part of the Eastern Bloc countries he like ate some, he drank some sort of metal, and I remember the photos of the guy's face. He turned like metallic in his face, and he was offed by the Russian government.
Really?
And it was like some poison that they put in that went undetected.
I knew there was a guy that it was cyanide or something like that. He lost his hair and his organs bloated or something like that. Or radioactivity. Radioactivity.
Maybe,
radioactivity too.
It's hard to keep up with all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So do you pay attention to like world politics and like do you give it much energy or are you just like fuck all that because
I don't. I probably check in maybe once a week. Just to make sure that the world's still there. But no, I don't. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I went through.
I'm with you though, right?
I went through a couple of years of like intense.
I'm with you there too.
Conspiracy theory reading, and I was making myself insane. Yeah. And thankfully,
but it was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was so good, dude. It's like this drug that's like encased in steel, and you're like, I don't really want it, but it's right there. Yeah. Because
I'm gonna pull an all-nighter tonight.
Yeah.
Look up the 911 September 11th. Pull an all-nighter.
No.
It's such a rabbit hole too, though, because the stories are good.
Dude, I got as far as into Ike. David Icke, and
I didn't go that far.
Yeah,
I was like, red lights.
Ike is on like lizard people and alien beings. I mean, like,
I read a little bit about it, but
I was in that. I'd gone I burrowed so deep. I was into that.
That's heavy, dude.
And I was living in Korea, and my roommate was a Zen, like he wasn't a monk, but he was a Zen teacher, and he said to me, Actually, it was two different people talking to me. One was this guy, and the other one is Patrick Evans. And
Brother Patrick.
Brother Keith, you got to understand.
Hey, Patrick. I could do it.
These things have existed long before you existed, and they'll be here long after you go. And that was and
hey, Brother Patrick.
that was like one little piece.
We making fun of you, man. We're just celebrating you, bro.
We love you, dude. No,
yes.
So the other piece was the only thing that you can truly control is your breath. And this is from my roommate at the time. And like, whether or not these things are true or not, the current condition we're living in is a byproduct of decisions that people have made, right?
Yeah.
And so when you learn to control your breath, you make more conscious, more appropriate decisions in the moment, which will carry on to my son, to my friends, to my community. And that's what really sort of stuck me on a spiritual path, because I realized that no matter what the world politics, like the political stage looks like, with my resources, my Keith's personal resources, I can't do anything about that. But what I can do is make a difference in terms of my breath, my community, and that's where like PB&J came from, and No Meat March, and like opening up a healing center. I mean, my driving force behind all of those things is, well, I can't change Russia and America's dynamic, but I can influence people around me and my child now and my community and my family.
That's great, man. Man, you were involved or originated those things that you mentioned, like Veg Fest and PB&J, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what I dig about you, man. Like, you're the type of dude who does that kind of thing. You know, I'm the same type of dude. I'll do, like I'm doing this thing right now.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You know, except I think I'm a little bit more antisocial.
Okay.
I call myself an introvert that's forced to be in the position of an extrovert because of my profession, playing music, you know.
But we're all dynamic creatures who have extro and intro, and you know.
Yeah, man. So that all those things came from you controlling your breath, from what you learned from this guy in Korea.
Not necessarily from this guy. I mean, sitting in monasteries and studying yoga.
Yeah, and all, but I mean, all of that came from like from that philosophy of not being able to control things on the side, like things that are too distant, things that are outside of your sphere of influence, as they might say.
So you see, like the Judeo-Christian model is like fighting over, you know, this. There's a God, there's not a God. You know, atheism versus religion. Eastern spirituality is what I love. This is why I connect so deeply with it. You know, to a Buddhist, ask a Buddhist if there's a God. Maybe, maybe not. But it shouldn't affect my desire to want to be a better human being, so that my interactions while I'm on this planet, whether or not my spirit goes on or not, you know, I shouldn't need that treat at the end of the gate to behave properly. There's an innate thing inside of me that's wanting to create a better situation for you, because selfishly a better situation for you is a better situation for me. If I have true compassion, then you as my friend, and we can kind of relate to this already, if you call me up and you're like, dude, my wife took the kid, I'm losing my house, I can't in good conscience be a friend to you and go like,
that shit would never
care.
happen. I want you to know right now.
Well, when my wife leaves me, you know, you won't be able to be happy.
No.
But yeah, so that's sort of the motivation through it. I mean, and the teachings, those teachings are not something to believe in. It's like breaking down just the fact of the condition of being human. So I don't know if there's a God or not, and that's why like I see a lot of wisdom in Judaism, you know, and I connect to it because I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
But I'm not in synagogue on Friday nights praying to God, you know, and so for me, I take the wisdom that I see in Judaism and, you know, and other experiences and religions and spiritual things, and I filter it through the lens of how it functions for me on a moment-to-moment basis, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to get up right now and like take this microphone and just like smash it to pieces, it's going to create a different response in you than if I get up and give you a hug right now.
Yeah, it would cost money. It would cost money too.
Right.
And hugs are free.
Hugs are free, right? So, what time is it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we got to get going.
Oh,
We've got like 5 minutes. What do you like dig in, dude? You got like 5.
No, I mean this is cool. I want to know maybe Tahila can be on the podcast if she decides that something she wants to do.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so one of the things you're working on right now is Hemming Plaza, Hemming Park, downtown.
Yep.
And I play music there. You know, I play music there. Actually, I'm playing there every Wednesday of March 2015.
Good.
You know, I don't know when you're going to hear this or see this. But so I'm doing that. It's 11 to 1:30. And Keith is going to be there. He's going to rap with me, and he's going to play some cajon.
I'll play cajon.
He's going to play some
cajon. I don't know if I'll rap. I'll beatbox while you do your trumpet.
It's yeah, you can beatbox, dude. You can beatbox. I'm wide open that kind of stuff, man. I don't mind.
So yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah, where do you want to go? Hold on.
No. If there's something you want to talk about, we can talk about it.
I'm just gonna have. I'm actually teaching a yoga class tonight.
I'm sorry.
Know that I teach a men's yoga class tonight?
No, I didn't know.
On Tuesday nights.
You teach yoga too?
Yeah, but I don't tell people that.
Yeah.
It's like
there's things that I do too that I don't tell people.
It's sort of like a men's group where we go deep. You know, like have that opportunity to go deep.
Oh, it's like that.
It's like deep, dude. Yeah. But no, okay. So let me give you the quick rundown. Hold on. Let me tell Tahila that I need her to open the door.
Yeah, man. If you gotta go, we can stop right now, man. You gotta go. You gotta go. But if you wanna, if you wanna talk about anything, that's good.
All right. So you wanted to know what I'm doing,
ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
I can change my voice sometimes. Here we go. What if I talk like this? Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Hey, baby. How you doing? Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. All right. Nice. What if we did the whole podcast? You know, if you talk like this, the podcast would be so relaxing. Oh, before you go, do you know what ASMR is?
ASMR?
Yeah, it's like this. I can't explain it right now, but it's like this feeling you get when somebody like is playing with plastic and you like that sound. Or they're turning the pages of a book and you like that sound and it puts you in this like...
I'll have to...
Or the sound of nails or the sound of a keyboard.
Like white noise kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of like that. But I was thinking about some people whisper. They do ASMR and it makes them relaxed.
Like this.
Or you can talk like this. You know, you talk
it's funny.
Whatever you want. But I was thinking, what if somebody did the news? What if somebody did the news ASMR and they're like, 15 people died today in a car accident off of the coast of, whatever.
That's interesting. When I read Tegel bedtime stories, like when I'm like, okay, it's bedtime, my voice changes. We read much slower. Yeah. And you can just see his eyes like getting heavier.
Oh, that's tight. Yeah.
I'm like, yes,
that's cool.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
All right. So let me give you the quick rundown.
Yeah, man.
So I'm working on Hemming. Hemming's going really, really well.
Hemming Park, yeah.
I mean, you're there every week, so you're starting to see the changes, right?
Yeah.
So
I dig it. Una placita for a Chicano from LA, una placita is the most. All you need now is mariachis.
Let's go.
No.
We should do it.
Yeah.
Mariachis in the park.
Yeah, man. Oh, so
the park stuff is going really well. Tahila's our healing center and community center. It's going really, really well. We're doing Tahila she's got a full equipment Pilates studio, and we're bringing a documentary at the end of March to Sunray, and so we're like, she's doing really well. People are. Yeah. This one guy came in he had a stroke and couldn't move his arm, and now he's gained mobility. He's been like that for years, and he's getting mobility back in his arm.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
There's a friend of ours who has Parkinson's, and he has balance issues, and now he's like lifting his leg in the air and holding it up, and she's doing amazing things. And so we're doing community events. So like we've got improv theater on Monday nights, the yoga thing I do Tuesdays, Wednesdays. We've got a hand drumming workshop with Ken Anoff.
This is all at Tahila's.
All at Tahila's. Okay. And there's on Saturday morning we have a Feldenkrais class, which is this woman from New York. She's living down here, and she's
Feldenkrais.
It's the Feldenkrais method. It's
Oh, that's a name.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard the word Christ, and now I'm like, what?
Not Christ, Feldenkrais. Yeah. And then we're doing a women's self-defense class for free. I think Patricia's coming to it actually on Saturday. I think
she needs it, bro. Living with me,
right?
No.
Give me the baby.
You know what? I'm not a very forceful person to me. I'm not but that thing we were talking about, Israel and elbow culture.
Yeah.
I'm the elbow culture in this house, and I have to kick back because
I
I'm
can see that.
Yeah, and I'm I want her to be more elbow culture with me. I'm just tell me what you mean. It's just tell me. But she's comes from here,
right? I was gonna say with Tehila,
yeah.
One of the things I love about her too is that I don't have to go to sleep at night wondering if she's angry at me.
Because she'll tell you. yeah.
So
that's dope. Yeah.
So then I'm also.
I don't have to wonder either. I know too.
You know too, yeah. But it's very passive aggressive.
Yeah, it can be.
It's never passive. It's always
Patricia, I love you. I'm not trying to talk shit about you right now, but if it sounds that way, hey, you have a sense of humor. That's what I like about you.
He loves you.
Okay, yeah,
loves you a lot.
I do.
And then I'm also, let's see, I'm trying to get it all. I'm producing an art show at Cork in April. It's going to be for National Poetry Month.
Mm-hmm. You expect people to remember all this?
No, but I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Is there somewhere where you post this, a schedule of these things? So, because on the show notes, I can put it. I can put all this. I can put Tehila's. I can put...
we're promoting the film now, but today I was over at Cork talking with George Cornwell.
If anybody wants to know any more information, I'm going to post it in the show notes.
Yeah. I was over at Cork today talking to George Cornwell about the April show. He's screen printing the poems for me. Yeah. So, when the time is ready, I'll be promoting it.
The art show.
Yeah, at Cork. It's going to be... I've got a bunch of people who are writing poems and we're screen printing them and it'll be up. And so the idea is that we're sort of flipping the written word, the poetic form, and putting it in a visual medium, in a visual format and presentation.
Okay, wow.
So cool. That's something I'm doing. And there's a bunch of other side ideas that I have, and we'll see if any of those come to fruition. The point is that I'm busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's great. That's great news, man. I'm very happy that you came on here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gar.
It's great, and I know this is going to turn out fantastic, man. Thank you. I love you, bro.
Love you too, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And so that's it, and we'll see you soon. All right. Bye. Peace.